Bernard Tobin at the Commodity Classic in Denver, Colorado. I'm over at the Association of Equipment Manufacturers right now, catching up with Senior Vice President Kurt Blades. Kurt, how's it going?
Oh, it's great to be here. It's great to be at Commodity Classic this year.
Yeah. Hey, big crowds here today. You got to be happy with what you're seeing. It starts on a Sunday. Monday's rolling.
I'll tell you what, it is exciting to be here at Commodity Classic. It's so much fun to see, your old friends and the positive attitudes that come with farmers. I mean, we're dealing with some storm clouds in the ag industry right now, but it's what's so great about this conference, more so than any other ones, there is just an energy in the room that you can feel. Everyone's positive, optimistic about what the future's going to hold.
Let's talk about 2025. A tough year for equipment sales, Kurt. Tractors and combines were down significantly. How is 2026 looking so far?
Well, it's a little too early to tell so far what 2025 is going to look like, but we're seeing kind of more of that same continuation of the trend, where that softness we really started to feel second half of last year. It continued on to the first couple of months this year already, and we anticipate that to sort of continue on. I guess the good news is we saw this coming, and this time last year when we were hearing of folks that were beginning to slow down some of their production to make sure that the supply met the demand. We're starting to see that, so there's some anticipation of this slowdown. We're seeing the effects of that right now, and obviously equipment sales being down across the board, that kind of stinks. That kind of stinks for members, that stinks for everybody.
What about Canada? A similar story here. We've seen the numbers sort of track pretty close.
They pretty much go 1-to-1. Sometimes Canada, leads. Sometimes the U.S. leads on those downturns and upturns. But right now, we're seeing almost exactly the same across all classes, whether it's small tractors or big tractors or articulated four-wheel drive. They're kind of appropriately down across both sides of the border.
Now, Kurt, at Commodity Classic, we've seen from year to year a lot of big releases, tractors, combines. I'm not seeing that this year. A lot of technology upgrades, but very little new iron. What does that tell you about the market?
Well, I think the one thing that tells more than anything else is a matter of timing. Like the last few years, we have seen a lot of new machines. We saw new combines from pretty much every manufacturer. And so, it takes a while for those to fully get into the market. And we're seeing some of those on display here, maybe now for the first time, or farmers are seeing them for the first time. So it's not so much a change in strategy as much as it's just a timing issue. But the story of the day here at Commodity Classic is new technology and evolutions of that technology. And boy, some of the things that we're seeing that are being debuted today or being upgraded today were dreams 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where you have machines that can detect a pest and immediately deal with that particular pest or that particular weed. That's exciting. That was unheard of 20 years ago, and now it's being commercialized right here at Commodity Classic.
Oh, for sure. Some great technology, and I've got some great reports. I'm looking forward to getting them out to RealAgriculture viewers. Right now, Kurt, there are so many forces shaping this market: commodity prices, farm economy, trade policies. How does AEM read the market?
Well, our biggest factor that affects capital equipment purchases, honestly, becomes attitude. And obviously the economics have got to come into play. There is the age of the machines got to come into play. Interest rates come into play. But a farmer has to feel good about their operation, both for the coming year and for the next 5 years, before they're willing to make some of those capital equipment investments. And I'll tell you, we've had some storm clouds out there. Those storm clouds are largely related to uncertainty, whether it's uncertainty for global trade, whether it's uncertainty for the future of biofuels. Obviously, weather's always a consideration. So those uncertainties lead to maybe an attitude being just a little bit less optimistic. If you're less optimistic, you're not as excited about making those capital equipment purchases. And so I think that's reflected in the market right now. So as we look at, again, Commodity Classic becomes very energizing because of the positive attitudes that come out of here, where everybody recognizes that we're in some tough times, maybe in ag, but we also recognize we might be towards the bottom, and better days are are ahead of us. And that's what gives me hope. That's what gives farmers hope. That's what gives our members hope that the best is yet to come.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about something that obviously is on the horizon here, and that is tariffs and the threat of tariffs and their impact here. The industry uses a lot of steel, a lot of components made in many countries. What's AEM's position on those tariffs? What are you telling the Trump administration?
Well, we feel very strongly about tariffs. Tariffs are taxes. They're taxes on farmers, they're taxes on America in general. So we feel pretty strongly about that. And as it relates to equipment, obviously, equipment's made all over the world. A lot of it's made here in North America, a lot of it's made in the U.S., a lot of it's made in Canada, but all of the machines are made with global parts. So if you think about a tariff and the amount of parts that come from different parts of the world because of specialization, that's going to have an impact on the price of equipment. So you couple that plus the added piece of potential trade of commodities. I mean, it should be something that we all should be paying close attention to.
A final question for you, Kurt, and that is, as you look forward to 2026, what needs to happen, to reverse this downward trend? Does it really start with commodity prices and the farm economy?
Well, obviously the farm economy is the biggest trend that we have to be paying attention to. I mean, there's some predictions for net farm income that cause a little bit of concern. We also hear some stories about some aid coming out that might change things. But the biggest thing that will change the impact of future for sales of equipment is certainty. Whether that's a farm bill or certainty on trade or certainty on biofuels or whatever it is, certainty is what we need more than anything else.
Great stuff, Kurt. I appreciate you making some time here at the Commodity Classic for Real Agriculture.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.